Stop abusing Excel. Today, I will show you how to create a sales report in Power BI from scratch. First, we will need to import the data. We just click Load here. And then we go to the table view on the left, and we will see this data looks quite neat. Like a usual sales data, including date, payment type, sales, and products. It is a good start that we don't need to do some extra cleaning. Now we go back to the report view and start designing the report. In real life, there are many different approaches of what elements are required. If today there is no stakeholder, no requirements involved, then we can think about why do we need this report? What is the purpose and what do we want to see? As a sales report, there are many important indicators we can start with. Revenue, quantity, cost, date trend, product trend, etc. It can be subjective, but I'd like to have some big clear cards in the report that the user can immediately see the important indicators in number format. So here we can select the money column, and it will automatically turn to a card. We can resize the visual and click the new card visual again. Here we get our first indicator, big and clear. Now, go back to the table view and see what else we can find. It seems like from this table, each row represents one transaction. We can use count to calculate the transaction of sales. We select money column again, but this time we will change it to count. 3,636 transactions. That can also be our main KPI. Cost is also important, but normally we won't show it directly. So, the next step, we are going to create a sales trend. We will need money column mixed with date. A trend graph has been created, but we don't want to compare by year. We may just click the arrow here to drill down to quarter and month. We can see there are certain high and low in specific months. But when we drill up back to quarter level, it also tells us that the sales are continuously growing. We will find out the reasons later, but let us see how products attribute into the sales first. We select money column again, and this time it goes with coffee_name. This is the sales by each product, already sorted by the sales revenue. For this kind of bar chart, it is good to rank the best earning products, but usually ranking is not what we focus on highest level, unless finding out best products are significantly important in this report. Therefore, we may use a pie chart or a donut chart, so we can identify how the percentage from each product is. Here we can see latte has the biggest sales and how it compares to other products. Instead of pie chart, I personally tend to use donut chart, and I will tell you why later in this video. Alright, here we have some basic data visualization, which provides us some information. 1. Overall revenue between March 2024 to March 2025 is 115.43K. 2. There are 3,636 coffee being sold. 3. The sales is continuously growing with monthly wave. 2 peaks are in October 2024 and February 2025. 4. Latte has the biggest sales among all products, coming with Americano with milk and cappuccino occupying over 60% of total revenue. Good. And as you see, I left the right-hand side blank, so we can use it for some advanced analysis. Think again, the purpose of the sales report. Are we improving the revenue? How can we do that? Let me go back to the table view and see what can we get from here. Cash type column here simply represents card and cash, so there is not much useful information. And card column here shows a lot of card numbers. It could be credit card or a member card. We have had a simple touch of money column before, but I now notice one thing about the distinct value. 20 distinct values refer to there are 20 different prices have been sold, but you can see there are only 8 types of products. Here comes to another assumption. Some products might sell with a discount. It could be useful and meaningful, but let's see if there's anything more important. We come back to card column 1317 distinct value. It reflects some numbers may come up more than once. If it is true, which means we have some repeater customers. This pattern sounds way more meaningful to me than the insight from discount. It is an exciting news, but we will need to validate the data first. Let's pick 2 random numbers here. It is a good example two card ends with 0002 and a lot with 0003. It explains 0002 customer has bought twice and 0003 has bought 31 times. Now here we can create a new calculated column. You may just copy and paste for now. This formula returns the customer type. If they have visits more than 2 times, they are labeled as repeater. If they visited more than 5 times, they will be a loyal customer. And cash type customer, since we cannot identify them, they will just be a one-time customer. Okay, now we can test it out if this means anything in the visual. First, we can pull out the revenue just from the repeater by selecting money combining with filter. We can see it is 33K, almost 30% of the total revenue. The proportion is big enough to show some meaningful patterns from the group. All right, when we know there are a certain group of customer we want to focus, we can go by day, time, location, gender, or anything about their background. This data provided the date, so day and time trend can be a good start. We can select money and date again, with customer type filtered as repeater. The trend shows slightly different from the overall revenue. To me, it doesn't explain much, because it basically just says when there is more repeater, there are higher sales. But time is always a good factor. We can try converting those date into weekday. Copy and paste this DAX. We will get the day of the date. Now we can choose the weekday column we just created, replacing the date column. Also sort it by the weekday. It will improve the readability. Oops, Power BI is not clever enough to make day as a sorting factor. So we will need to do some works. Go back to the table view, copy and paste this DAX. And select the weekday. And sort it by the new column weekday number. Once this step is done, we can sort the visual again by the weekday. This time it will have the order we wanted. Change it from line chart to column chart as we want to see the ranking. By the visual, now we can tell which day the repeaters bring us the most revenue. And don't forget the data also provided time factor. We create another new column and copy and paste this DAX to just get the hour from the date time column. Like the weekday, we use it to replace the on x-axis and we will choose line chart for this. Okay, now it is telling us the peak hours are around 10 and 18, which could be the morning and evening hours. It is a very usual peak hours in any cafe industry. All right, now we have the day and time pattern from the repeater customer. Think, if you are the owner, what you will want to know more from here? I would also like to know what their favorite coffees are, then we can focus on them. We have done this before, so what we need to do here is just to copy the visual and apply the filter. Here are some tricks about donut chart that I think it is doing better than pie chart. Once we hide the background and legend, which can replace by data label, then we can get a clean circle, slightly smaller the spacing circle, and hide all other unnecessary texts. We can combine this with the card visual. We can adjust the font and label from the card to fit in, even better. Now, it looks really neat to show total revenue of products and how is the distribution from repeater. So far, so good. It is time to have another group, the loyal customer. We can simply just copy all visuals we have done before and change the filter. If you have an idea about the layout in this stage, you can wait until the very end when all other visuals are set. I don't have a boss to tell me what they want here, so I prefer doing visuals one by one. Okay, so now we have all the visuals and it tells a story of two group of repeaters. Normal repeater who had bought 2 to 4 coffees during the period tend to come on Tuesdays about 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The most popular coffees to them are latte, Americano with milk, and cappuccino. Next, the loyal customers who have bought at least 5 drinks during the period. Weekday are more often to see them rather than weekend. Monday and Friday are the peak. Hourly, still 10 o'clock in the morning, but evening peak is at 4 p.m., a bit earlier than the repeater. Their favorites are Americano with milk, latte, and Americano. It is a very powerful story that tells us how the revenue is who contributes the most and what attract them. We can use this data insight to think about the next business strategy, which is the goal of this sales report. In real-life situation, it could be more complex and create reports with a certain purpose. But as long as the report fulfills the reader's need, it is a good report. Thanks for watching. This is Perth PowerBI. If you're looking to turn your data into clear insights and better decisions, feel free to contact me.